welcome back to our show. We're here today with a group of people who claim they have the solutions to most of the world's problems. I have a question for AME109, one of the most outspoken of our guests. AIM, did God give you these answers?
No, not really.
Then why are you here, and what do you know?
Some people say life is beautiful, some say it's pretty ugly. I listen to the optimists and try not to let the others bug me. We're only given one life, so I try to enjoy my existence. I choose the path of greatest fulfillment over that of least resistance. I can do anything with enough heart and persistence. Maybe I'll be a teacher, maybe I'll be a writer, maybe I'll be a doctor or even a freedom fighter. One thing's for sure, I don't want to be a famous rapper. Signing that contract is like flushing half your life right down the crapper. I'd rather not rely on the media to make me fameless. I seek refuge in the underground and remain nameless. Conscience clear and heart shameless. A rogue warrior forging his own destiny. Friends share their feelings and invest in me, earning infinite interest on the emotions they invest. I stretch those forward feelings across my chest and use them to shield me on my quest. I seek the pure and dedicated. They're few and far between, but often imitated. I spend my days listening to kids claim they've got heart, but once they see money, things fall apart. To me, it's all about the art. It's about expression. It's about the power of suggestion. It's about relieving this congestion and knowing when to question. We can't be given all the answers without asking. Knowledge is there for the unmasking. Once we familiarize with multitasking, life is personal fulfillment through knowledge and experience. We found that out and have grown weary since. Living lush and indulging is so enjoyable. Life has become based on time and being employable. But that's only for the shallow-minded and weak-hearted. To sell yourself short, you must be retarded. You're just obstacles in my path to be disregarded.
Yes, I have a question for the gentleman in the toque with the headphones. Mr. AIM109, I agree with you that knowledge is key, and we shape our own destinies, but society insists on breaking down the communities we build in order to modernize into one global city. They turn our parks into parking lots, and our small businesses into internet businesses. What do you think?
Communities are just a stepping stone in forming a metropolis. When my cozy street became a highway, I can no longer be an optimist. I used to trick or treat at the old lady's house down the street. But now it's got boards on the windows and it's where the crackheads meet. People sleep on the lawn and I've seen needles in the bushes. Someone should clean it up, but it's easier to see how far the envelope pushes. We give them free needles, but for rehab they'll have to fill out an application, wait 6 to 8 weeks and endure the frustration of temptation. We know they don't have the motivation, so we can cross off their reservation. Civilization is just the rural concept of a so-called democracy, built on pavement and hypocrisy. We build higher fences and advertise slogans like love your neighbor. And out of the goodness of our hearts, we hire them to do our labor. We managed to evolve from suburbia to the slums, where community mailboxes once stood, now stand begging bums, who ask us for change, then give us false directions. I give the man $1 to fund his drinking and injections, but he gives me non-existent street names and parallel intersections. It's a you scratch my back, I'll stab you in yours mentality. The illusion of kindness is merely a formality, treachery wrapped in hospitality. I'd give you $1 even if you said you didn't know. But the only slogan you know is quid pro quo, an equal exchange, but in this case all I got was deceit. Most bleeding hearts probably ask you for a receipt, so they can write it off as an expense and find another way to cheat. The system that works so hard to tilt the hands of justice in their favor. They give you $20 to sign a waiver. The waiver represents the few rights they decided we deserved. Those rights are ours and must be preserved, but unfortunately the scales are curved, and the rewards slide to one polarity. We beg the government for a leader with sincerity, but politics are just a contest of popularity, and a small town community living in peace and unity is seen as a business opportunity. To sum things up for you, what we really need to do is reevaluate our objectives. We need to question what is laid before us, and ask ourselves, what can I do? You can do a lot as individuals, and even more if we work together as a community. Or maybe I'll just run for office.
Have you written anything lately?
Yeah, I guess.
Will you play it for me?
You don't want to hear it's not good.
No, I'm sure it is.
You see, eventually, your music will help put an end to war and poverty. It will align the planets and bring them into universal harmony, allowing meaningful contact with all forms of life. from extraterrestrial beings to common household pets. And it's excellent for dancing.
The purpose of this album is not to make me rich or famous. This is my narrative. It is a collection of essays and short stories I have composed, integrated through the medium of hip-hop music. Through this music, I hope to bring a sense of elation to listeners. There is awakening in consciousness happening in a portion of the hip-hop community. Rap music has been deemed a violent, destructive music associated with crime. This may be true for some of it, but what is often confused as anger is the energy, frustration, and confusion of a young generation. People in the hip-hop community turn to the four artistic elements of hip-hop culture as an outlet to vent these feelings, as well as a positive way to meet good people and have fun. These artistic elements have had such a great impact on my life that I have dedicated myself to giving back to them. So is spawned Elated narrative integration.
I seen some shit I couldn't believe.
My mind was clouded. It was a simple case of writer's block. I hadn't slept in 2 days. I couldn't think, I couldn't talk. My eyes were heavy, and the Sandman had begun to sprinkle his magical confetti. I put down my work, much room for improvement, and fell victim to the rapid eye movement. But they were moving to a beat, and sending impulses down to my feet. I had fought sleep for too long. My body was drained and my mind was far from strong. So I gave in and let the Sandman win. Relaxed and let the dreams begin. But right away I knew this dream was not like that of any other day. The rhythm my eye movements were displaying was now accentuated by a drum loop that was playing. I was standing on the grass and saw no concrete when a dozen breakers began battling in the street. The sun at my back, I could feel the heat. In the distance I saw many disjoint slabs of cement, upon which writers breathe their element, like stone canvases on exhibit, as a visual reminder to inhibit any misconceptions of hip-hop as simply music, thus confirming its status as a cultural apparatus. There were no groups, just one crew. This dream was too good to be true. I knew I was just dreaming, but I didn't care. This dream was so real I could smell the Krylon in the air.
I seen some shit I couldn't believe.
Hip-hop's about the uplifting of humanity. Hip-hop's about the uplifting of humanity.
3 DJs and 6 tables emerge from the ground and take control of the sound the breakers surround. They anticipate every scratch. One challenges the others to a friendly match. All 3 were great, no need to crown a winner. There was love all around, whether pro or beginner. A dozen MCs rush the stage. One sets it off first and begins to engage. The chosen poet has spoken. The mood is set and the ice is broken. From my virtual sleep I have awoken to realize my eyes forget how to function. They were but a mechanism working in conjunction. It is safe to make the assumption that today is the first time I've seen the light. Instead of filling me with rage, the poet filled me with insight. His words made me question my existence. I was filled with questions, so I paused for an instant. I tried to refute, but useless was my resistance. Why does this poet challenge what is accepted and know it? He believes in a cause, although he cannot show it. Have we been led to believe fiction? Nevertheless, I was now without conviction. His words challenge society as a whole. He said for too long we let the media corrupt our soul, and now it's time for me to take control. We are creators of our own destiny, not the media. Being a part of history is being more than a page in an encyclopedia. It means changing lives and challenging norms. We'll fail alone but prevail in swarms. This dream has shown me that a culture never conforms.
I seen some shit I couldn't believe.
Hip-hop's about the uplifting of humanity. Hip-hop's about the uplifting of humanity.
I awoke from the dream shaking, knowing that my third eye was now awaking. I was taking deep breaths in hopes to regain composure. But my head was filled with too many issues needing closure. I grabbed a pen and began to jot them down, not knowing where my life was bound. From that day on, I devote my heart to the sound. Cause if we don't wisen up and take action, much to the government's satisfaction, in the next culture will be cut to a fraction. If we leave it in the hands of the next generation, will they exploit it and sell it to the nation? I don't want to take the chance and let them. Our peers laid this foundation and we can't forget them. We need to build and inspire when we speak. We need to innovate with styles unique, to prove that hip-hop is more than the flavor of the week. I seek goals of longevity and I believe them to be attainable. Our culture is sustainable, but we need to stop abusing its resources and contribute our own individual forces. Of course, it's gonna take work from us as individuals to stimulate the audios, writtens, and the visuals. No longer can we rely on the other guy to keep the heart of this culture beating. Heads need to stop competing and concentrate on completing a rebirth of the elements and spreading hip-hop's relevance in society's transition to private enlightenment from public repetition. I don't know about you, but I want to be involved in any decision.
I seen some shit I couldn't believe.
Hip hop's about the uplifting of humanity. Hip hop's about the uplifting of humanity. Hip hop was about the upliftment of humanity.
I travel the road to purity in search of personal security. I travel the road to purity in search of personal security. I travel the road to purity and I travel the road to purity and I travel the road to purity in search of personal security, overwhelmed by the obscurity of discovering unknowns. Busy lifting unturned stones, cause finding good hip hop is like a Where's Waldo book. It's all a matter of knowing where to look. Weak MCs hide behind a clever hook and refuse to pay dues no matter how many styles they took. They base their routines on provocative poses and stylizing their delivery by plugging their noses, until someone opposes and eventually exposes that they don't even write their own rhymes. Plagiarizing is the most heinous of crimes, but overlooked thousands of times. What is music if it's not itself? I say better left upon the dusty shelf inside the writer's ego, but instead it was sucked out by a scavenging mosquito. We bought the image and the train of thought just came in the same case. Products for consumption that we use and replace the second we desire disk space. Figuring there were too many words to be explained, but he had that cool video so we never complained. If only we'd have listened, so much to be gained. But hip-hop is still being seen as the cover of a magazine, with no depth, just a high-gloss finish. And those who know the truth will slowly diminish if there aren't more accepted eclectics, cause if they never saw God, even priests will become skeptics. But I keep my faith in this culture close to my heart and contribute my all in hopes one day the sea will part. And in the middle we will stand together united, in a land where our rhymes are constantly recited. Every man and woman on earth is invited, but this is a party that never ends. And there's no need to wear a mask cause we're all friends. Being yourself and helping others are the only popular trends. There is a global sense of security that transcends the physical through to the mental. Our peers would be anything but judgmental, so we feel liberated and free to be sentimental. Sentiment is the fifth and dearest elemental, and therefore fundamental in the prophesized resurrection. The light guiding our community in the right direction. In fact, we should all just take this moment to show hip-hop our affection. Clowns walk around, claiming they got sold by the pound when they're far from profound. Rapping through a straw to stimulate the sound. MCs don't need gimmicks to astound. Clowns walk around, claiming they got sold by the pound when they're far from profound. Rapping through a straw to stimulate the sound. MCs don't need gimmicks to astound. Thanks to all the ones referred to as gods and duns. The public sees rap music as a vehicle for degrading women and glorifying guns, and the artistic content is tricky, wordy, and elaborate puns. So I'm here to cleanse mind clouded with audio pollution. Too many artists in Dolby Digital blah 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 resolution. Music video was definitely not the solution, although allegedly it did rid us of the radio star. It multiplied the problem team towns beyond the previous par, and further raised the bar for people with physical imperfections, and vice versa for lookers with media connections. But this just filters out the artist and we're left with the refuse, and LPs that take 4 years to produce featuring 4 peers. What's the use? Let's reduce. It's a pretty package but another useless gift. What if hip-hop was stripped of its bright colors and loud noise? Bling bling rappers, samplers and toys. If we added real artists, B-girls and B-boys, and more cans, tables, floors and microphones. Instead of aspiring to be stars, we remain true stones. Each individual's never clones from an old-fashioned formulaic recipe. Instead we live out our own destiny. I want to be the best in me, and that's not too much to ask. No need to wear a mask, just use the tools I've been given to handle the task, and do my part to support the starving artists. Because deep down I know the easy route isn't always the smartest. As long as they work their hardest, they shouldn't be punished for staying true to beliefs. When we give millions to those musical thieves, they provide entertainment by cutting and pasting others' works, adding little snippets and quirks. They're nothing but recycling clerks, and hip-hop is too profound for them jerks. Clowns walk around, claiming they
got sold by the pound when they're far from profound. Rapping through a straw to stimulate the sound. MCs don't need gimmicks to astound. Clowns walk around claiming they got sold by the pound when they're far from profound. Rapping through a straw to stimulate the sound. MCs don't need gimmicks to astound. Clowns walk around claiming they got sold by the pound when they're far from profound. Rapping through a straw to stimulate the sound. MCs don't need gimmicks to astound. Clowns walk around claiming they got sold by the pound when they're far from profound. Rapping through a straw to stimulate the sound. MCs don't need gimmicks to astound.
I watch the cynic as he mimics warm-ups from my linguistic clinics. He doesn't notice but his feet are tapping and his head is nodding along to the drum loops that are prodding, while the hook is carefully marauding, making sure not to take too much and leave his noggin rotting. He now wears our t-shirt to endorse the product and attaches fan mail to the monthly survey we conduct, thanking us for lyrics that opened his eyes, packed with nutrients and the occasional pleasant surprise, beats that cleanse the palate of his soul. He was short a few Cheerios, but now he's got the whole bowl. And they say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so welcome to our all-you-can-eat buffet, where we serve hand-carved insight with a side of inspiration. And the meals are free, although they take weeks of preparation, followed by slow roasting and constant marination. We offer a succulent variety of all-natural vocals, and 100% discount for return customers in support of locals, specializing in certified Black Angus beats and vitamin-fortified cuts that help you accomplish astonishing feats. Everything is media fat-free and absence of additives to keep the customer happy, because word of mouth is the best kind of advertising. And although we just opened, the magnitude of our clientele is quite surprising. I guess customers are just sick of paying top dollar for chicken feed and giving into the competition's greed. We use their profits to buy the equipment we need. Opening the shop forced our pockets to bleed, but if asked to do it again, we'd agree indeed. I have a job, I cook because it's my purpose in life, and preparing entrees helps me sharpen my cerebral knife, which God forbid one day I might need in a battle, to carve up opponents like ripened cattle. But today's specials are Canadian back bacon, and a smorgasbord that my co-workers are making, so grab a plate and prepare to let your taste buds awaken. Grab a seat and join me for some sweet and sour soul, enough inspirations due to fill your bowl. Feeding your intellect is the chef's only goal, cause a well-fed mind remains in control. Grab a seat and join me for some sweet and sour soul, enough inspirations due to fill your bowl. Feeding your intellect is the chef's only goal, cause a well-fed mind remains in control. Hot food coming through. You need to put some meat on those bones, just look at you. Sit back and let me treat your senses. Build up your body's natural defenses as the chef dispenses cuisine from past and present tenses. Once you're more than satisfied, a donation would help to cover our expenses. But if you can't afford it, we'd appreciate any spreading of our name. Finance and marketing are all the same. I love this game, I'm not out for fame, but I would like to touch as many taste buds as possible before that day when I end up in that hospital. Hopefully once I receive my official chef papers and cooking degree, I can begin teaching classes and sharing my recipe. I want to collaborate with other cooks and adding their specialty to the best of me. Cooking is an institute of lifelong learning, but too many prep cooks are more concerned with earning hourly wages and they end up burning dinner, so we eject them from our decks and end up turning the dial to takeout, where assembly lines add synthetic spices to fake out your taste buds. Your mouth floods with artificial flavors and preservatives made by the paradigm of conservatives. He dares not experiment but follows directions by a book, more of a factory worker than a cook. I have them written down too, but I never look. I create feasts from my heart and the knowledge in my reserve. I'm proud of every morsel I serve. I can't believe other cooks have the nerve to conserve. My guests work hard and I only give them what they deserve, so students pay close attention and observe. Grab a seat and join me for some sweet and sour soul, enough inspirations due to fill your bowl. Feeding your intellect is the chef's only goal, cause a well-fed mind remains in control. Grab a seat and join me for some sweet and sour soul, enough inspirations due to fill your bowl. Feeding your intellect is the chef's only goal, cause a well-fed mind remains in control. The day had finally come, where I was to take over the media's controls from a group of politicians with cryptic souls. I knew something was wrong because they were dressed in jeans and hoods. One said you must know self to control the goods. My situation was getting awkward, why? Because the governor of Bolt said get in the tool shed or you're gonna die. When I entered the shed, I noticed a sign that read Circle Research and the smell that was vile. Upon the shelf, I noticed a jar filled with topsoil and a fermented reptile. I continued to the back of the room where I noticed some coin slots. I dwelled through my pockets and came up with $1.65 and some plastic robots. I deposited my change, and out came a strange man wearing flashy tennis shoes. I believe they were Aces. He was accompanied by a bit of a freak show, and they said they were here to give me the basics. By all shades of culture, I was now surrounded. When the brass monk clenching his swollen member spoke, I was astounded. He stood at least 6'2", and he looked confounded. He passed me a pen and ink, but used a ballpoint. I couldn't figure out how the ink operated. So I asked for help, hoping one of these fourth world occupants cooperated. I passed it to the bookworm they called Jeff Speck. He spoke in a mixed up dialect, but he seemed to be the leader of these oddities. He was quite intelligent and far from Socrates. I jotted down their so-so plan to escape this park-like setting that involved Mocha only, and no one else was getting their hopes up, because although Mocha's poetry could collapse syllables, he had poor DJ moves, which nowadays were a must to establish hit club grooves. Mocha's brother wanted to come along, so I asked him to state his name and age. Noah, 23, and I'm your trump card, he said, filled with rage. He was more of a gold spade, so I said to Mocha, put your brother in my backpack to keep him concealed when we invade. Later on, Mocha was battling Martinez when he twisted his linguistics, but he played a trick and was able to josh Martinez and recover his statistics. I wanted to help, so I plugged in my mic, but they couldn't hear a word I say. I was a sitting duck being stalked by a bird of prey. Thank God Fritz the cat jumped on stage and saved the day. He pulled out Martinez's plug and the oppressors went away. Our whole epic was straighter to left field. Who'd have known what Astral Majesty perfect strangers could yield as we left the stage with our musical weapons concealed.
Starts as soon as you realize I don't have any money. Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
What'd you say? You do here.
I feel good today. We're gonna make some money. Trouble starts as soon as you realize I don't have any money. Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
What'd you say? You do here.
I feel good today. We're gonna make some money.
Blue collar workers, blue collar workers.
For years, unsuspecting employers have relied on like some me to get the job done. Part-time jobs are like opinions, but worse than everybody's got one. If given true serum, before an interview I'd tell them to turn around and run. I've worked the occupational spectrum and lasted an average of 3 months. My termination was not due to my immature stunts, but my lack of dedication. How am I going to dedicate myself to a part-time occupation when they criticize me on a constant basis? I think I just like seeing the looks upon their faces when I give my 2 weeks notice. My resume should be in the dictionary next to the poison lotus. It's like a kiss of death on paper. It travels to the 14th floor of the postmodern skyscraper, creeping in its innocent packaging up the elevator with the director of personnel, attempting to be professional, notices my clever use of stylized puns and cracks a smile. He slides me into the to be considered pile. Meanwhile, elsewhere I'm covered in sweat, trying to bust my section to restock the salt, while the manager has himself locked inside the vault. Swimming in profit while I'm in a desert of debt. My paycheck is post-dated Friday, so I can't cash it yet. Relying on tips isn't a safe bet, and $5.95 an hour is more of a threat than a security blanket. It gets me upset. So patiently I await the calls of dear potential employers who are busy trying to hide evidence from influential lawyers. While they flock to paper shredders and destroyers, I break my back so that I can break bread at the dinner table. Dreaming of a day when I'm no longer young and able, and I could be forced into early retirement and sit around all day watching cable, just like the 30-year-old artist on a record label.
Trouble starts as soon as you realize I don't have any money. Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
What'd you say? You do here.
I feel good today. We're gonna make some money. Trouble starts as soon as you realize I don't have any money. Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
What'd you say? You do here.
I feel good today. We're gonna make some money.
Blue collar workers, blue collar workers.
Good afternoon, thanks for choosing Blockbuster. AME109 speaking, how can I help you? How about a knuckle sandwich just cause somebody dealt you a better hand? I have trouble trying to understand why I can't just blow this popsicle stand. But then I remember rent is due on the 1st, and my account balance is near zero. Man, I must be the worst at budgeting funds. Maybe I could stop paying income tax and take the day off to relax, pick up some new wax. But that's close to an impossibility. Maybe I could demand a raise for my video stocking ability, cause I rewind tapes with such agility. There's never been one faster. When the supervisor beckons, I come running to master. With such a turnover rate, good help is hard to come by. But still I get stuck fighting with some guy who started last week for who gets more hours. This whole experience sours my opinions on this company that empowers my worst enemy to be my boss. Oh well, I quit and it's their loss. Until I realize I'm broken. My fridge consists of a jar of mustard and hot sauce. Print off a dozen resumes, fill out 8 applications. Please see attached resume for history of employment and past occupations. If there were resume awards, I'd definitely receive a few nominations. I'd like to thank my mom, aka my first editor, and my dad for making me a job opening predator. Last but not least, my wife for not making me feel like a bum, when my usual mode of transportation is my shoes or a thumb. But I swallow my pride and take out loans at university, because skipping meals brings out the worst in me. And they say after graduation dream jobs land in your lap, but that's probably crap, so I think I'll just pass on lunch and instead have a nap.
It all starts as soon as you realize you don't have any money.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately. What would you say? You do here.
I feel good today. We're gonna make some money. It all starts as soon as you realize you don't have any money.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately. What would you say? You do here.
I feel good today. We're gonna make some money.
Blue collar workers, blue collar workers.
I spend countless hours on the net, seeking countless facts to whet my intellect. At times I wonder why I seek this useless knowledge, why I chose university over community college. But then I come to my senses and acknowledge that I've been placed here as a student, congruent in my learning. To the teachers my discerning is quite concerning, but a true scholar is forever paying dues, and I would never choose to abuse. To ignore the rules is to confuse my intentions with taboos, but that is the furthest thought from my mind. Presently my thoughts are confined on the Venetian blind we call society, that swells up with anxiety and closes on the concept of variety. But it dictates we must shape our lives to a paradigm and spend 5 hours a day doing sit-ups cause it's a crime to have spare time. I think I hear the pitiful chime of individualism fading in the distance. It's not okay to live for the sake of existence off government assistance. My dear, when for an additional $13 billion a year, we could provide health care and nutrition for every person on earth. We spend $17 billion a year on pet food for what it's worth. I think we need to get priorities straight. It's nearly too late when a child's birth will be its fate, but we should never underestimate the difference we can make. They say I'm not hip-hop if I have positivity in my flows, and I wear no-name clothes. But long ago I chose to oppose those who don't decompose my prose, but still remain opinionated. My exterior is far less animated than the kids they see on MTV, and at every video store on the life-size cardboard marquee. I just provide the guarantee that I'm here to stay as an MC, and although it might sound strange, I'm here to stimulate positive change. Not to collect, respect, thoughts intersect, I detect those who object to my dialect. Not to collect, respect, thoughts intersect, I detect those who object to my dialect. Not to collect, respect, thoughts intersect, I detect those who object to my dialect. Not to collect, respect, thoughts intersect, I detect those who object to my dialect. Now that you've heard my side of the story, it wouldn't be fair if you didn't hear the opposition. So I'm gonna get into his character with this little blurb of inspiration. As I walk down the block in a tailor-made suit, smirking to myself because it's all about the loot. I hope I don't hear anybody shoot, for fear they'll spill blood on my alligator boot. I must get back to the studio to collect my check. They call me bitch, but I know they don't mean any disrespect. Last time I checked, I had the fastest car, and in all the photo shoots I'm the star. So what if I had to step on their toes to expose the whackness in their flows? Maybe I should go solo, then I could afford more polo, and I wouldn't have to give them any of my dolo. But I have to make 3 more albums to fulfill my contract. Until then, I can make movies, that's no limit, anyone can act. And as a matter of fact, I'm sick of changing my name to avoid paying child support. Every time I get a girl pregnant, I spend a week in court. I should declare bankruptcy and sell them short, cause pimpin' is an expensive sport. And my 3% of total gross isn't even close to enough to fund my habits, let alone the expense of chasing rabbits. But I could cut down on the coke. Nah, that's just a little joke. Like saying I love the girls I poke. I smoke the days of my life by, cause I hide my pain in getting high, then wonder why I die before the age of 30. Now what did that accomplish? I don't know, but I think the decision is unanimous. A little positivity and honesty wouldn't really hurt. Not up to collect, respect, thoughts intersect, I detect those who object to my dialect. Not up to collect, respect, thoughts intersect, I detect those who object to my dialect. Not up to collect, respect, thoughts intersect, I detect those who object to my dialect. Not up to collect, respect, thoughts intersect, I detect those who object to my dialect. Ink flows from my pen like tears from my widow's eyes. Alone with my thoughts I've removed my disguise. God, I despise people, but I regain equilibrium along with stationary supplies. A writing utensil provides utopian conversation. Talking to humans is intellectual stagnation. The concepts we discuss fills them with fascination and me with frustration. Pretty soon I won't have to leave my apartment thanks to online shopping. No more human interaction stopping. The course, plastic smiles, and style reformed words. I don't want to interact with those ignorant nerds. Flock and socio-herds. They're born and they die chasing the bees and the birds. Or was it the birds and the bees? Transferring bodily fluids with the Autobahn for disease. But uses nowadays thanks to the internet sleaze. Pretty soon my cyber babes will clean the stains in my carpet. And we'll attach electrodes to our temples to reach a target. Level of stimulus only to discuss what she wants to do because I go offline. To continue my work, which is all fine in my mind. I need not a partner, just a laptop and bed. I can sell my body to science, all I need is the head. Better yet, download my brain instead. I could beat the lawnmower man without the job, and use my brain to probe your deep secrets and dark desires. Find out who's sincere and who are the liars, and sell your soul to the most heartless buyers. But for the time being, I'll continue making music for you to love, cherish, and potentially abuse it. The beat is all good, so you can all the work up your layers. But I warn you, beware of technologically inclined writers. Our lives while slowly approaching our own death, with hopes of one day owning a gasp of our own breath. The unavoidable lure of 1.9% financing clouds our judgment and we ignore the urge of second glancing. That's how I commence my oral romancing, tantalizing the ears while in sponge-like states. My seemingly harmless lyrics spawn heated debates, like sheep they flock to my website for solutions, and click to agree in terms and conditions avoiding potential prosecution. The site, directed by a master of hypnosis, was designed to induce psychosis, trapping readers in a world of mental distortion, manipulating and stretching thoughts out of proportion and cerebral contortion, where I can implant my promotional propaganda, all because they couldn't understand them lousy pieces. Now they're caught in a web of diegesis, and lost inside the latest of my evil masterpieces, inching me one step closer to world domination. Little do they know I'm not an author but an abomination. Part computer, part grotesque, a brain inside a jar on our computer desk, running on intellect and high-speed internet which intersect. I had no use for the body, now approaching 200 years and feeling quite godly, with mankind in my figurative grasp. As they search for that solitary gasp of air, I swallow the key and tighten the clasp. My grip on humanity is getting tighter, so I warn you, beware of the technologically inclined writer. What's that? Oh, it isn't the radio version? So you don't mind if I swear then? No, I'm not getting smart with you. Yeah, I do like my job. It's the extended club bass mix. Alright. plastic rap flows conform to a classic paradigm, relics of the gangsta era molding to our time. No rhyme, I'm based on audio proxemics, laced with vocal gimmicks. MCs need to come as a whole. My notebook is a window to my soul. My cerebral cortex split into million sections to be studied by those with hip-hop in the heart, not internet connections. Nowadays, underground is cool, so kids begin to burrow. But you can't try to be something, you must be thorough. In this cold world, I stand alone. My savior preaches through a headphone. If you see me, I probably won't see you. My concentration will run through any distractions on my avenue. If I have batteries in my Discman, I ain't risking missing a single line or a single riff. My bus rides are awakenings, while others are bored stiff. MCs are carried through my Sonys, who quickly point out microphones. But the real cats are carried in my backpacks and help the flow from my fat caps. Since people look at me like I'm despicable, and my perceptions are so inexplicable, I try to express what I mean through flat black and hunter green, add a dash of taupe. So no one understands, but the piece is pretty dope. I try to be nice, but they won't cooperate. Too busy trying to figure out how I operate. I operate in beat per minute, and my lyrics will take you to the limit.
Nothing but money. Nothing but money. Nothing but money. Nothing but money.
Too many rappers wanna get paid and laid. They don't care where their record's played, as long as the check is dated today. They figure their naive fans wouldn't know anyway. Nowadays I can make the beat on the toilet and add the sound effects for a chorus, and I still wouldn't spoil it. Hip-hop fans have lost touch with what's real, expecting some surreal, but get rambles of shallow rappers who don't feel their art is in their heart, but they gave it up from the start to become business smart. More concerned with marketing and distribution, and transforming music from a feeling to an institution. They wear their souls on their feet and wonder why their lives are incomplete, building bridges on deceit. Knuckleheads walk around, trying to be down, claiming I'm not an MC till I get paid, regardless of the skills I've displayed. Although my bank account could not amount to a roll of nickels, and most rappers have more scratch than the invisible pickles. My lyrics hit you where it tickles, and rattle around and you don't find a home in your spine. The listeners rely on AME109 for inspiration, cause I stimulate the mind. Open your heart and you will find that my verses take you on a journey, crossing infinite boundaries cause they don't concern me. Barriers are made to be broken, eyes are made to be open. Once I have spoken, you may resume previous activities. Until then, I'll invade your proximities, pointing out ironies in societies through my flows, like the fact that skaters are the only ones who don't wear so-called skater clothes. Maybe it's a cultural paradox, or maybe we're just blind. The media paints its labels on mankind only to find that it has a reverse effect. The target market views it as an act of disrespect, and the same advertising exec used to write rhymes and do graffiti, until he saw big with Puffy and he got greedy, claiming he's got love, but those punks sellouts wouldn't shell out $20 a pop to resurrect hip-hop. Sometimes I don't know why I keep fighting, when the hardest part of being a rapper is reading your own handwriting. But every now and then a good drum loop can get exciting, and until then my words will continue to enlighten the select few with my files on their hard drive. No matter how hard MCs strive to stay true to roots, technology is the only way to survive. When only 5 people come to your hip-hop show, and there's only 6 kids listening to college radio, get the hint and update before it's too late, or fall victim to a frustrating fate. Like holding up a DMC and trying to run with one roller skate, it spells disaster, so turn the page and start the next chapter. Until then, I'll try to mask my laughter.
Nothing but money. Nothing but money. Nothing but money. Nothing but money.
As the consumer price index continues to rise, the cost of living leaps astronomically. The only commodity that seems to steadily decrease in cost is the price of souls. The human soul hit an all-time low today, leveling out at around $1. My personal artifacts are stacked, piled in the corner of the room, ready to be packed. No single event has had greater impact on the road of life's meandering, straying me from the beaten trail. Times are tough, but inside I know I will prevail. It's time to set sail and let these old dirt roads guide me in the right direction. The sun and moon, my only protection from what lies ahead. My fate hangs upon a single fraying thread above the shark-infested waters where the others tread. But it's too late for them, I must save myself instead. Those who perish live on inside my soul, regaining control of my flesh and blood console, taking hold the hands of fate, recovering what we lost from those who chose to desecrate the sacred ways that shaped our past. The eve of judgment is approaching fast, armed with only a sharp tongue and skin as thick as leather. My attacks would be lighter than a feather, but time is on my side, and whether it takes me a day or eternity to get inside, I fight with honor and pride. When love and lust collide, love will always reign supreme, and we will regain our music from the mainstream, free to awaken from this insane dream. They attempt to obstruct my sight, my eyelids separate, and I can see the light, but we have only just begun to fight. Emotions
flow like tides from oceans, devotions,
broken, breaching sacred trust, ancient prose begins to rust,
love is sacrificed to lust.
Emotions
flow like tides from oceans, devotions,
broken, breaching sacred trust, ancient prose begins to rust,
love is sacrificed to lust. Correlation of thoughts collected against the debris on the seashore, floating back and forth, and the words soak into my sweat pores, metaphors crawling up my legs as I sit down to watch the sunset, feeling every sentence move up my body as if it were a dumb threat, and I got no one to turn to, not even that brunette. I feel the sand dribble through my fingers as the phrase lingers right and left like car blinkers. I roll my pants up to 3/4 as the tide forwards. I step up and walk upwards towards the top of the beach to see the shifting weather move like my shifting moods. I take another puff, I exhale a cumulus cloud above my head as I admit the route I still ain't proud, cause I can't brush all these nouns off my skin before they sink in, cause the layer is too thin. Keeping an open mind but headbutting verb for the best, and that image of a coat's mould imprinted on my chest and inside my forehead stays fresh. And forever this world remains a part of Norsca, place where the wind flows north and walls marked with Tosca. Behind my beach where the outside information meets, forests of tall trees breach for no reason, without deforestation destroying them in season. A dark place where my words dwell and represented by each leaf. Autumn doesn't exist and what already fell has been taken by my grief. With roots so deep, only time can tell how. And now all I can see is the surface. I haven't begun scratching it or thinking if I have reached the furthest. For whatever purpose, I lurk in all parts of my place. The beach for due thought and the forest for everlast fast-faced. I am graced to enjoy such a world without being harassed by spun girls. A plan to escape and take every meaning for itself. Grown into a tree with strong branches, and most of them golden since felt. Man, people claim they know love, but on what level? Lust overpowers love and clouds judgment. We're never truly free until we can separate the two, no matter how hard life gets. When it knows love, the human soul can't be broken. Love's lust.
Friendship is an element dependent on trust. Add compassion and honesty together, they combust. The final thrust, spawning and awakening, breaking through the crust. Take my hand and rise up from the dust. Together we can strive to keep alive feelings of unity. Family, friendship, harmony, and community. Let's not sleep on opportunity when it's tickling our noses. Open ears to ideas a neighbor proposes. Served on a platter are the symphonies he composes. Why wait till the door closes and you're left alone in the rain, ringing a broken bell, hoping your bored ideas sell? Kiss those thoughts goodbye and say farewell. Neglect to conform to the norm and rebel. Fight for your right to use third eyesight. Take my hand and head toward the light. Use me for inspiration to ignite the energy inside the matter of your being. Share with peers the perceptions your mind is seeing. The depths of a mind are an ocean. Alone you'll drown, together we're water skiing. My hands are here to assist you in construction. You lay the foundation while I remove the obstruction. Let's tear down fences and replace them with welcome mats. Greet neighbors with handshakes instead of baseball bats. Use excess income to feed those in need. Help them remove the weed and plant the seed. If a place to stay is what you need, I'll sleep on the couch. Need a job? Put me as a reference, I'd be glad to vouch. Or cab fare? Let me reach inside my pouch. Need a hand in the right direction, I'll be by your side. If the tables were turned, would you run and hide? Or open your arms and offer whatever you could provide? Let's not confuse being stubborn with pride. Whoever you are worldwide, you have a friend named AME109 in which to confide.
Let's put on some more music and try a few ball change kicks. Okay? Okay? Here comes the music. Ready, set, and begin. Left ball change, kick, ball change, kick, ball change, kick, ball change, kick, and right ball change, kick, ball change, kick, ball change. Let's put on some more music.
I feel freedom at the end of your fingertips,
but the feelings form deep inside my gut.
I feel freedom at the end of your fingertips,
but the feelings form deep inside my gut.
But the feelings form deep inside my gut. The path I seek is now clear cut. The fate of the world is clenched inside your fist. I deviate and attempt to resist. My mama told me to stand up for yourself and persist. So I'll fight till I discontinue to exist. Cross me off the list. I wouldn't cooperate to save my own hide. As it is now, guilt eats me up from the inside. Take your foot up off my pride and let me stand tall like a man. Take responsibility for my actions and do what I can to elongate a neighbor's lifespan. It took me nearly 20 years to understand that there's more purpose to life than financial. When you do for others, the rewards are substantial. Learning is the reward I seek. I too was once weak. People suggested caring and the thoughts frightened me. But there have been a chain of events that have enlightened me. Cleared my vision and relieved that dry irritation. Anyone who follows my lead is not an imitation, but a wise soul needing congratulation. I didn't find this path alone. My friends and family planted the seed and the tree has grown. Let me point out all the wounds I've sown as you take my hand and we travel into the unknown.
Enthusiasm, optimism, self-confidence, and a more positive attitude will replace your previous negative and pessimistic viewpoints. Enthusiasm, optimism, self-confidence, and a more positive attitude will replace your previous negative and pessimistic viewpoints.
Hip-hop is a circus tent with rappers by saying they've got to represent as I sit around awaiting my event, wishing I could give more than 100%, cause man I want to make a dent in strangers' lives. I want to be the force that drives and making sure this culture thrives, but I'm far from a savior, no model for behavior. Always getting frustrated, it feels like I'm battling on my own. It's just me, my music, and my microphone. Sometimes I wish I were a pawn in a giant army. Instead I fight alone and anyone can harm me, but they don't alarm me. I remain naive and wear my heart upon my sleeve and encourage people to speak what they believe, unconcerned of what it will achieve. I've had my feelings stepped on more times than dope MCs have been slept on, but I've kept on discussing sensitive issues and adding padding to the delicate tissues. Heads like to sling dirt, but I ignore the hurt and convert into energy that I subvert. I flirt with rejection and look inward in reflection. After hours of dissection, I twist it and throw it back at the audience. We show mutual affection. At this point of intersection, we stand still in time and space and embrace. I invite them into my hiding place where we can dodge the paper chase and not get caught up in the dust cloud of deceit. We better make sure to ask for a receipt for dues paid, cause we'll need proof of our crusade. when we invade the mainstream's masquerade, which through its vanity leaves a sour taste on humanity and adds to my insanity. But the doctor says if I keep taking medication that I'll be cured cause chemicals are the source of vaccination. And the pastor says that I should look to God for my salvation to avoid damnation. And my friends have their own dictation of cessation for my situation. And then I have a revelation and I realize I must look towards my heart for elevation.
Enthusiasm, optimism, self-confidence, and a more positive attitude will replace your previous negative and pessimistic viewpoints.
Although my antisocial vocals flow through the headphones of mostly locals, I have a message we're spreading. From the golden days MCs have been forgetting, running out of inspiration, dedication, and letting lyrics turn to general disses. Perhaps they forgot that this is an art form used for self-expression. Calling a symbolic person whack is not what I'm suggesting. It's a form of cultural congestion. These words should act as the antihistamine. I hope the ones I speak of are listening, because battle rhymes are fun in competition. But due to excess repetition, they should not be the focus in our mission. If we strain to come up with something fresh, will it really bring us so much stress? If we wish to progress, we must confess the millennium has brought forth positive change. It's time for hip-hop to rearrange. It seems strange that this group of people who claim to be enlightened are commonly frightened at the thought of modification. If there's going to be changes, they want compensation for temporary loss of economic operation. Yet they claim they would deny a record deal and conceal their surreal conceptions of the ideal. A studio is not a place of employment. Writing rhymes and making beats is purely for enjoyment. And I'm a student of the masters, studying the rise and fall of rap music and the great disasters. But I'm here to write the next testament and repent for the mistakes of others to an extent, and myself for lack of contribution. I yearn to cease this cultural prostitution and obtain some resolution, because everything must strive for evolution.
Enthusiasm, optimism, self-confidence, and a more positive attitude will replace your previous negative and pessimistic viewpoints. Enthusiasm, optimism, self-confidence, and a more positive attitude will replace your previous negative and pessimistic viewpoints.
I feel freedom at the end of your fingertips.
If we don't do our part and show we can hear it, four elements form nothing but a square. But when we combine them with the body and mind, oppressors breast beware.
Patiently I await my man's hands to emerge from a crate, so he can put the needle to the plate, manipulate the 505 and 808 and leave me in a catatonic state. He surfaces with rectangle and superduct brakes. The bass gives us chest aches when the needle touches down and the speaker shakes. My eyes follow his fingers as they attack the crossfader. His only other passion is cherished record trader, passing on gifts to his peers. He pulls the wax back as the audience cheers. They can't get enough of these groove engineers, creating symphonies from pre-recorded sounds. Groundbreaking, yet treading on common grounds. He easily astounds the masses with the instrument of direct drive. His hands bring dusty breaks alive. He cuts like a samurai. Techniques are the chosen blade, inviting us on an auditory crusade, slicing in half anyone who steps in his path. We applaud and laugh. He feeds off the energy of the crowd. So put down your drink and clap real loud, cause we wouldn't be here today, and no one would hear the words we say if it weren't for the DJ.
If we don't do our part and show we can hear it, four elements form nothing but a square. But when we combine them with the body and mind, oppressors breast beware.
You pray to an icon, I pray to a can of Krylon. Dear Lord, please steady my hand and watch out for me when it comes to the man, so I can throw down as many furnaces as I'd ideally plan. I say goodbye and kiss the spray can. Grab some New York Pats, German outlines, and a handful of other assorted nibs. Beat rock's the main ingredient in the latest mixtape by Mr. Dibbs. To rock in my Sonys as I eliminate toys, taggers, and phonies. Last week I bombed freights, but today I have a bridge in my sights. I'm gonna take this to new heights and read imposters their rights. I usually prefer piecing at nights, but this spot is poorly lit. Holding a flashlight is mad awkward, besides the sketch of the shit, and it's burning a hole in my black book. Yesterday I was talking to that whack crick, said he's been eyeing my spot, and if he beats me to it, things are gonna get hot, cause the heat's been tracking him since last time he got caught. Tagging a lousy sign at the bus station. Boy, that kid adds to my frustration, but he won't derail my state of concentration, cause in my head dances visions of flat black and banner red, antique white, teal blue, and plum. To fast bus rides I invent calisthenics for my index finger and thumb, stretching them with hopes to increase my spring endurance. Then I tighten my shoelaces for a slight bit of insurance, cause running for my life is a regular recurrence. But if you want to represent, you gotta piece in the right places, and be ready for one time in their trivial chases. The unofficial Writers Guild only embraces those of us who put it all on the line, taking risks to combine our art with public property. There ain't nobody stopping me when I throw down and represent my element properly.
If we don't do our part and show we can hear it, four elements form nothing but a square. But when we combine them with the body and mind, oppressors breast beware.
down, giving props to striking b-boy or girl poses, popping lockin', up rockin' from when the doors open till the joint closes, cause we gotta represent and take them chumps title. Me and Lady Pond Effect have a reputation that's become vital, and making sure this jam includes a display of physics, not just a poetry recital, cause without breaking a show is incomplete. Like no fat laces in the Pumas that entreat my feet. Let's just sit back and witness the rival fleet as they demonstrate technique to the beat. But they're just repeating top rocks to windmills, which are fresh, but doing the same move all day involves no real skills. Good competition gives me the chills, but to be worthy of battle you must innovate. My crew strives to inspire with the moves we create, but still digging out classics like vinyl from a dusty crate, or an old school piece that passes by on a rusty freight. Breaking isn't a dance you practice with hopes to get sexed. It's an art form of its own with an unwritten text that remains in the hearts of those who know its beauty and have once been perplexed. Mesmerized by the moves of Rocksteady or the New York City Breakers. Thanks to amateur filmmakers, because I didn't realize until Stan Lathan's Beat Street opened my eyes that my soul could be expressed through my body's movements. His film was one of the few things that forced improvements in the way the public sees our generation's voice. Cause we're born to be breakers, it isn't a conscious choice. So B-boys and B-girls unite and rejoice. Rejoice, 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 rejoice.
We don't do our part until we clear air for elements for nothing but a square air. But when we combine them with the body and mind, oppressor's breast beware.
I sat at my usual stool on open mic night. Thus far the cipher was tight when up stepped this parasite whose flows were far from polite, wearing square-toed leather shoes and a tucked-in shirt reeking of ism booze. He began to abuse the mic, but I sat high up on my stool, buried my face in a beer to drown out that fool, and try not to lose my cool. I'm really quite patient except when it comes to freshman MCs that aspire to be Teen People Award nominees, and on the box of my macaroni and cheese with rhymes about champagne and dead presidents, they fake speech impediments and attempt to impeach residents with underground status but get taken out without hesitance. Not saying that I endorse violence, but right now I do anything to force his kids' silence. People like him see rapping as a girl with low self-esteem. They get drunk and abuse it thinking it's all peaches and cream. Hip-hop is a beautiful mother to the utmost extreme, and those who think I'm joking aren't even miscarriages but a wet dream. I take this shit serious. If you're just curious, you must be delirious to interfere with my passion. I suggest you evacuate in an orderly fashion, because at this moment I'm running low on compassion. I closed my eyes and tried to think of flowers and puppies, but my thoughts were corrupted with coffee shop yuppies. My grip tightened to the point the glass began to crack. And I'm not a fighter, plus I was alone and no crew had my back. But I couldn't take it, this kid was too whack, so I morphed into battle mode and began my attack. Now I gotta give enough respect to battle MCs, and I'll be the first to admit I can't compete with them when it comes to freestyling. But there I was, the closest thing to a battle MC in the house that night, and I had to put this kid in his place. If I remember correctly, this is kinda how it went. Excuse me son, is that your face? Or a dermatologist, worse scenario, whatever the case. I'd pack my bags and leave this place without a trace, because I'm about to embrace your flaws and make a disgrace of your memory. When you get to hell, I'll be standing at the gate saying, remember me. But till then, I'd be branding in your thoughts like an emery. Should've called in sick for work tonight, but now the office bully is standing at your cubicle picking a fight. He's got 100 pounds on you and nearly twice your height, and I'm gonna send you home in an envelope. Run while you can, chump, there's no hope. You hit a peak and the rest of your life is all down slope. Your mama warned you, stay away from troubled youths. It shouldn't take a team of super sleuths to find out you speak it wrong and stash the truths. You ran home and locked the door when we were tagging telephone booths. Told us you had to finish homework and chores. We were living the life while you were closing our doors. You masked your voice and put a picture of a black teen on the cover of your album. Let me be the first to ask you, you thought your fans were how dumb. You claim you're a true MC, but you sound more like Scooby-Doo singing R&B. I'm doing you a favor, putting you out of your misery. Your future was history. My flows are like waves in an ocean, yours are ripples in a court. That LP you put out was about half an album short. You probably realized the rest of your songs were even worse and had to abort. The ones you kept needed 20 guest shots for support. A couple 13-year-olds bought your album thinking it was a compilation. You got all your publicity from that nightclub altercation. Some real head just wanted to have a conversation, but you sicked your bouncer on him with the 1-2 combination, breaking the poor kid's jaw. Your ass in the newspaper was the weakest thing I ever saw. When I called you out, you just stood there in awe, dumbstruck in a rented tuxedo looking fresh and dapper. You're more than a beat jacker, you're an entire melody kidnapper. So choose your weapon and break yourself, cause now I'm a battle rapper. I don't even think I made it halfway through my verse before he bolted. A few hours later, around last call, I saw the kid in a bathroom stall. I apologized and offered to buy him a drink. We sat and talked for hours. He, like all of us once, just needed guidance, and I was there to take him under my wing. You see, this elated narrative integration has been that big brother for me. My journeys while creating it have shown me the light, so I thank you for supporting me. This is AME109, also known as Jason Hedges, wishing you peace and prosperity.